call. We're back to our normal time. We're back to our normal place, and it's good to be here with you guys. Today, we've got some good things coming. We've got a few mini trainings I'm going to be releasing to you guys, so keep your eyes on announcements. We're also going to have our normal copy review call on Thursday, and this Friday, we're going to be picking up where we left off on the last sales call review we did on the John Carlton free gun ad. So I'm excited to keep going through that. That first part is an extremely valuable breakdown. We spent an hour and a half and we extracted so much gold from that headline and from the early part of that ad about how to create imagery and contrast and identity. It was a fantastic hour and a half. If you haven't gone through and watched that review, you should try and find some time during this week between now and Friday to go and watch that, because I'm telling you, there's going to be some things there that you're going to discover about how to communicate with people in a way that grabs their attention and communicates their deepest desires that are going to help you with every piece of copy you write. Now, it's not going to help you just with if you happen to write a magazine ad for Black Belt magazine like that ad was. I doubt many of you are going to write magazine ads. But if you're writing a sales page, email letter, or an email, a video sales letter, Facebook ads, social media posts, blog posts, ebooks, anything. If you're writing anything that you're hoping to use to influence someone to make a decision, watching that review and the future reviews we're going to do this Friday on that ad is going to be extremely helpful for you because of the things we talked about. Massive help in that stuff. Now, let's dive into today's question, today's content. I get a lot of questions, right? I'm constantly in the Ask Professor Andrew channel, or at least once a day I sit down. It's usually about 4.5, 5 hours of my time, and I just answer questions for you guys. Just sit there and answer questions. I try and do a good detailed job in there to give you guys as much value. But every so often a question comes along and I say, I'm going to address this on tomorrow's Power Up Call. And yesterday I had a question come up that we are going to address today. I had a student come in and ask about manipulation, about copywriting, about the ethics of it. And I gave him an answer, and I told him sort of the gist of what I'm going to tell you today. But I decided to make a huge call, talk with everybody about it, because I don't want anyone to have this objection in their own mind. This one roadblock, keeping them from writing with as much power and persuasion as possible. So let me go ahead. I'm going to see if I can pull up that question, and we are going to break it down piece by piece together. Everybody here on this call, I'm going to answer this question for you. So let's see if I can, Mr. Producer, this second screen. There we go. Boom. All right, you should be able to see it. Let's make it a little bit larger. There you go. Matthew Lau came and said, "Hey Andrew, I've been contemplating the morality of advertising copywriting lately, and I would like your take on some of the ethics involved with having the level of power that copywriters have to manipulate human behavior and induce anxiety as well as other emotional states. I worry that by writing copy for people, I'm helping my client better manipulate their audience emotions and behavior for money. While I will only write copy for the company's individuals I believe are a force for good and have the client's best interest in mind, I'm still conflicted on this idea, and I believe that potential for unintended harm is a significant thing to consider. Most people don't need what most people are selling. They are often just solving problems that they have manufactured themselves, and I do not want to contribute to that. Thanks and advice. I wait with anticipation to see what you have to say on this." Well, today we're going to talk about this in great depth. So first of all, I want to be completely and entirely transparent with you. What we do as copywriters, it is manipulation, right? It is literally, we are taking people and we are manipulating their thoughts, their emotions, and their attention in order to induce them to take action. Now, if you look up the definition of manipulation in the dictionary, you will see the words handle with extreme skill, right? So as you are manipulating these things, you are handling it with extreme skill. You are indeed influencing people. Now, whenever their question of strength and influence comes up, ethics becomes involved. Now, I'm going to present a scenario for you. Let's say you are a police officer, and you're sitting there. You have the legal right to intervene and do your work as a police officer. You've got a pistol on your hip, a badge on your chest, radio on your belt. You're there, and let's say you're walking down the street, and let's say you see a woman being robbed at gunpoint, right? Let's say you see this happen. Now, you have the capacity to perform violence. You have the strength as a police officer to influence this situation. Now, you have two choices. You can either intervene and stop the crime from happening, start the harm to this woman happening, or you can choose to sit back and ignore it, right? Now, if you were to if you were to step in and help this person, obviously that's like the ideal path, right? It's your police officer, your job, you step in, you help them. But if you don't help that person, who's guilty now? Is the guy who is holding the knife or the gun at the woman in the scenario the guilty person, or is it you who had the power to stop it? Are you also to some degree guilty for or responsible for her lack of or her traumatic experience that she goes through? Obviously, if you have power, if you have the ability to influence a situation, whatever the outcome is, whether you influence or not, you are to some degree responsible for the outcome, right? So as copywriters, as human beings, we have the ability to influence others. We know how people think. We know how to channel their intention. We know how to speak to their identity. We know how to induce certain emotional states that cause people to see the world in a new way and take new action, right? We have that ability. So if we say, I don't want to influence someone because I think influence is bad, I think we're taking money from people, you are actually keeping people. I like to think of it as like that police officer scenario. You have the power to influence them to make a good choice. So part of the reason they don't have a better life is because you have chosen not to influence them correctly. You have the ability I believe you have the ethical and moral obligation as a copywriter to use every tool you possibly can to help someone move from where they are now to a better life. I think it's your moral obligation to do so. I think if you don't use those tools, you don't use the tools of influence of copywriting or manipulation to do so, I think you are shortchanging the people you work with, like your clients, your customers, your readers. You're keeping them from getting what they truly want. I personally use every single trick of the trade I possibly can to help you guys make as much money as possible inside this program. I help you guys. I influence your identity. I do everything I possibly can to help you guys become the best versions of yourself possible, because I truly believe that's the most important thing. So as a copywriter, yes, we are manipulating, but we only choose to do so. And again, there are some copywriters that don't. There are some copywriters out there who are completely unethical, and they will promote and use these powers for evil, for selfish gains, to get people to just buy products that won't even help them. And I'm not suggesting you do that. That is absolutely evil and immoral, right? That's the opposite. That's the police officer deciding to help the robber steal from the young lady in the scenario. It's the complete opposite. It's not what I encourage. In fact, I utterly despise them. I only encourage you to use these tools for good, to use them to help influence people to live better lives. Now, later on in the question, there was a point he made where he's like, well, I don't believe most people need this product, right? I think it's just a manufactured product to help the business make money. So let's back it off. So not everyone needs this product, and that is true, right? I'm very clear at all of my promotions who this content is not for, right? You want to make sure that it is very clear who your avatar is, who you're trying to help, and do it in a way that anybody who shows up and knows they don't meet those conditions for help, they will leave, right? And you'll gain way more sales as a result of doing that, but it also keeps you from selling to people who don't really need it, right? I heard a story the other day. My wife was telling me about one of her friends, and there was a salesman that came over to her house, and he was trying to sell this vacuum, and they didn't need it. It wasn't something they needed. They had a good vacuum. The other one worked fine, but the guy was just like a pushy salesman trying to push, and was really like verbally violent to this woman. It was kind of a scary experience for her. And it turned my stomach hearing about that. I'm like, that is the opposite of what a good salesman does. The good salesman sits down, he finds out what someone needs, and he finds a way to help them do it, right? If someone's not a good fit, he tells them and he lets them go away because he's there to help people, right? That's usually where the power of a salesman really steps in, is if he truly understands, I'm going to find a need, I'm going to fix that need. So you got to be really clear about who you're working with and who you're writing to. You got to be careful to avoid any kind of additional collateral damage, let's say. Another thing, though, is he said, I don't think people need these products. These products are just kind of made up by the companies. And I want to kind of challenge that and push back a little bit. People need a reason for their change, right? People need obviously as a business owner, you're providing an insane amount of value. You give $10 and ask for one back. You give 10 times a life improvement and ask for one back. So obviously you're trying to help these people, and you're only exchanging the money for massive improvement in their life. But when it comes right down to it, people need, and they're the ones that end up getting what they want. They use the product, but they themselves make the decision. They change their views. They change their life in order to get it. They're the one doing the work, but the product facilitates that. And a lot of times people need that product to facilitate. They could maybe sometimes do it by themselves. Maybe the answer is already inside them, but they need something else to give them the excuse to change, right? And that's one of the valuable things. So the placebo effect that comes from purchasing a product, the reinforcement of their identity, the investment that they put into that enables them to take the rest of their decisions seriously is not something that should be undervalued, right? Buying a product is a powerful trigger for change. Just the act itself of purchasing a product, investing time, energy, and money into something is a agent to make you more successful at that change that you want. So I kind of wanted to go through and address each element of that. Copywriting is a powerful, powerful force, right? You have the ability, and he's correct. As a copywriter, as someone who understands this, I have the ability to manipulate, to influence people on a level that is insane if you really think about it. It is wild. But I personally have chosen, and I feel strongly that it's my purpose here on earth to influence people, to help good decisions and achieve their good goals in their life. I believe that's why I'm here, right? So I use copywriting, and I use every trick of the trade, every little piece of manipulation I possibly can. I'll induce a tiny bit of anxiety here and relieve it there and provide a path forward here. I'll do everything I possibly can to help people improve their lives and live lives of greater power and personal freedom. I believe the more of us there are that do this ethically, I think that we will be a force for good that will shift the tide of darkness that exists in this world. You look at the world today, there are so many people that use these forces for evil. You look at the powers that be. Those of you who've been doing the rectangle challenge have received something of a relief from some of those things. But I'm telling you guys, there's a significant force in this world that uses these things for evil. The Nazis did it back in the 1940s, right? These other powers have done it for evil, terrible means. And there's a war of influence going on. And on the other side are people like you and me, people who understand this and use this for good and push back and help build and influence people for good, right? If we don't oppose this evil force, let's say, with our ethical manipulation of people, helping them gain more power, helping them have a better life, then the darkness will win. So it's not just a question of is this ethical or not. It's for me, it's a pretty significant. It's a purpose. We are here to help people. We're here to help business owners make a lot of money, improve their lives so they can live a life of greater freedom and have a greater impact. We're here to help their individual customers make progress towards the things in their life. We're here to help them be healthier, happier, better relationships, more stronger financial systems. We want to help them be entertained in a positive way. We're here to help people, right? And we need to use every tool we can, and we need to get as good as we possibly can at what we do as copywriters so that we can be that positive influence in the world. I firmly believe this. So I want all of you to reflect on this and reflect on your role and what you are enabling people to do as a copywriter. If you are approaching this from a selfish point, if you are completely looking at this as I have to make my money, and that's good. You should make your money and you should be rewarded for the good you put out in the world. But if that is your primary, if you are just so obsessed with producing some words on paper so you can make money without understanding, hey, I am being paid to influence people for good. If you don't understand that, and if you're not making sure that every piece of copy you write enhances someone's ability to make a good decision for their life, if you're not focusing on that, you're going to lose to the guy who is. The guy who does that is going to create better copy. He's going to create better influence, better relationship with his clients. He's going to make more money, and he's going to get the business that you don't, right? If you're just focused on trying to do the job of a copywriter and provide some work so then you get paid, then you're going to lose. If you are using these tools to positively influence people and can produce a positive effect in people's lives just from reading or listening to your words, you're going to win. And I want you all to develop that skill. That's why we're doing the copy review or the swipe file reviews. That's why I'm going to continue to give you guys more and more video trainings, more and more video lessons as we go through this program, so you can take that information and use it. Join me and join others like me who are seeking to influence the world in a positive way, to push back against that veil of darkness that other influencers, other copywriters are using in this world, right? And I don't mean like direct response. I can't name a direct response copywriter that I know that's evil. I don't know anybody like that. I'm not trying to say this person, like everyone I know that's a good copywriter for the most part is like very much on the same page for me when it comes to being an influence for good in the world, right? So don't go looking at outside copyright gurus and stuff like, oh, these people are evil. Like, no, they're good. They're doing their very, very best to help the world be better. I'm just saying there's these outside forces, these things that are trying to shift society in negative ways. And it's your job to help kind of push back with a message of positivity and light. I talk about this when we talk about inducing pain. Like whenever we're doing a PAS email and you're taking their pain and you're amplifying it, I'm like, you have to at that point give them a hope-filled path forward, right? You can't induce pain and then not give them a solution. You have to give them, if you're going to talk about and help people confront the problems in their life and experience the pain that they truly have in their life for a minute, you have to give them hope. You have to give them a path forward. It's only ethical that you do so, right? It's only ethical and good that you do so. My friends, I hope this gives you some perspective. I hope this gives you the ability to look at what you're doing through a new light. I hope it gives you a better understanding of what you're trying to accomplish with each word you put on that Google Doc. Because I truly believe that as you do so, you'll find a great amount of fulfillment in your life. Sure, you make a lot of money. That's easy. Yeah, you'll make millions of dollars by helping a lot of people. That's going to happen if you do this correctly. But the best part of my day personally is reading about how something I said or did or some way that I manipulated you guys helped you achieve greater happiness, greater energy, and greater success in your own life. That, for me, that tops everything. So I'm really glad that I get the opportunity to do this, to influence you guys. And I hope you guys take up the opportunity that you've been given, because you now have the power. You have the ability to influence others, and you're getting better and better at it every day. You have a responsibility to use that to influence the world for good and help people make better choices and live better lives. My friends, it's been a fun call. It's been a fun one to talk about. I've been excited to talk about this for the last few hours as I got this question. So I want you guys to keep your eyes on the announcements channel. We've got things coming. Until then, use these ideas, use what I talked about today to give you greater purpose, greater power, and help you go out and improve your own life. And that's also the other side of it. You have the ability to manipulate yourself now, to influence yourself. Use it. Copyright to yourself. See what happens. My friends, good call. Talk with you guys again tomorrow. Keep your eye on announcements in the meantime. Take care.